All right, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome to episode 35 of the On Air Advocate. Where at the On Air Advocate, we look to provide education, support, and empowerment for all of those with different abilities, mental and medical illnesses, and their caregivers. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Tammy Flynn, and I'm the host and producer of the On Air Advocate. And I am super excited that you're all joining us here this afternoon, or if you're catching it on the replay. Now, most of you know we are kind of wrapping up in the next week or so. We have about another week left of our chronic pain and pain management series. And so if you think that this broadcast could be relevant for anybody, please hit the share button. Now, with that being said, I am so excited to welcome not one, but two amazing guests today to the show. I have with me today Aly. She is a Chronic Connection Advisory Board member, as well as a chronic illness advocate and a rock star 19-year-old. I just have to say that. So I'm super excited to have her here today. And Denise, who is the founder of Chronic Connection, who kicked off our series at the beginning of last week. So welcome to both of you guys.
Thank you. So good to be here again.
Yes. So now, Aly, where do you live? I know you're in Florida, Denise.
Yes. I'm in Tennessee, right outside of Nashville.
Okay, so I bet both your weather's warmer than ours today in Wisconsin.
Probably.
So to start, I wanted to kind of learn, how did you two connect? How did this connection happen? For the two of you, with Chronic Connection and getting kind of paired up with this.
In our connection. Yeah. Well, I'll answer that to start with. When Chronic Connection didn't even have a name, and it was just an idea, we decided to do a little beta testing and see if the ideas we had for teens and young adults with chronic illness were even things that they wanted. And so we had the names. I was referred to Aly and her mom by my friend Dawn, who's also been on the program before. And so among others, teens and their parents. And I sent questionnaires out to them, and then we talked on the phone, and just to try to narrow down what the most important things are. So Aly and I talked, and I believe, Aly, I think you were about 15 at that point. So it's been a few years. Mm-hmm. We talked, we hit it off, and ever since then, Aly has been an integral part of creating the programs, creating the direction, participating, and just everything that we've developed over the last 3 years.
That is wonderful. And so Aly, you helped in the whole process of formulating the name and the programs and how those worked. And is that because you suffer, correct, from a chronic illness as well, correct?
Yes, we actually have many chronic illnesses.
Okay. Yeah. So can you, because obviously you wouldn't be a board member for Chronic Connection. If not, can you kind of share with the audience what those different conditions that you have are?
Yes. At 13, I was diagnosed with juvenile arthritis. And since then, I've been diagnosed with several other forms of juvenile arthritis, along with lupus, Addison's disease, and Raynaud's. So all that combined is kind of like a huge mess. But yeah, those are everything I kind of deal with.
And at what age were you diagnosed with those?
At 13, I was diagnosed with juvenile arthritis.
And these other things, have they trickled after that?
Yes. I mean, we realized now that I've actually grown up with all these. We just didn't realize what it was. I was very active as a child. We always thought I was just getting injured because I just had weak ankles, or I just would get fevers out of no reason because I just that's just how I was.
Okay.
And it was how I was, but we didn't know the cause of it. So I went into the doctor to actually get, my mom thought I had fibromyalgia. And so I went to the doctor for that, and the doctor was like, this is the least of your concerns. You have a much bigger problem here. And so since then, I've been diagnosed with other forms of juvenile arthritis so that it's kind of more narrowed down instead of being under one big umbrella. And recently was just diagnosed with lupus and Raynaud's disease and Addison's disease. So all of them kind of correlate together, but then they fuse. It's very rare to have juvenile arthritis and lupus at the same time. So that was very difficult to diagnose the differences between them, because when you look at it as a medical perspective, they both look the same, even though they're not.
Okay. So is there testing for that, or, you know, are there different scorings that they do with like your nerves, your muscles? I mean, how do they come up with all those diagnoses?
Yeah, for me, I believe the juvenile arthritis was a form of many tests, many MRIs, scans, bone tests, things like that. But it all came down to certain blood tests
Okay.
and genetic testing. The Addison's was actually, that didn't become present until, it didn't become absolutely present until last year. My adrenal gland shut down. But that's, Addison's disease isn't the first thing people test for.
Okay.
So I spent months not knowing what was happening to me, getting all these scopes done, getting all these, I had a bone marrow biopsy thinking that it was cancer. Like, we didn't know what it was. So the testing for chronic illness isn't exactly the best, as you
Right.
so many things could pop up, but it doesn't make sense because it doesn't correlate with any of these other things, if that makes sense.
Right. And so at that age 13, I mean, here you're a teenager and here you're diagnosed with all of these things.
Yeah, I was only diagnosed with juvenile arthritis at that time.
Right.
One diagnosis, I was put in a wheelchair. My whole life just changed. Like, that first month of being diagnosed, at first, like, my family and I were just like, oh, it's just, I'm gonna have to take some medication. I'll continue on my life, not realizing how much of a change it actually made my life, because I haven't lived my same life since I was 13 to now. Like, my life is completely different.
So was there a pivotal moment when you were 13? Like, did something happen? Like, you were playing a sport, or you were engaging in something, or you know what I'm saying, you just started feeling sick every day? What brought it to that point that when you turned 13, there was that turning point?
To be completely
Physically.
honest, for me, it was kind of like that stage of like hitting puberty and all those like chemicals in the body, that for a lot of people, chronic illness, either it's like especially with juvenile arthritis, it can either stop once someone hits puberty, or it can get tremendously worse.
You can flare up.
Yes. So I always had tons of symptoms and stuff when I was younger, but none of it became so terrible that I actually had to go to the doctor until I turned 13. And like I said, my mother just brought me into the doctor thinking I had fibromyalgia.
Okay.
And the doctor said, I need you to go take off your shoes and walk down the hallway. And I did. And he was like, you're not walking normally. And for me, I felt like I was like, this is how I've walked my whole life. What's wrong with that? And
right.
Hands and started pressing certain pressure points in my body, and I was just experiencing so much pain, but for me that was normal. Yeah.
Right. So you had grown up not knowing that that's what it was when you were having some irritation.
Yeah. I thought that's how everyone lived. I thought, oh, everyone hurts after they run around. Everyone hurts just by getting up in the morning. Like, I thought that was normal until I was like, oh, people actually live pain-free, and that's just not how I am.
Right. Right. And a few years after that, so you said for about 4 years, so like 2 years after you were diagnosed is when you and Denise met? Is that when the two of you kind of met and saw this need? Because from that age of 13 to 15, did you feel like there was many people you could relate with?
Not at all. I didn't know what anything was, and it was, everything in my world changed. I was thrown in a wheelchair, and then I was, all these medications, these trials and stuff, it was just a whole new world for me. And there were no outlets outside of my doctor's office for me. Like, I would go home and there would be only my parents to talk to about what was happening to me. And it was kind of like, and they didn't know so early on what even was happening to me. So it's like, no one, like, you just feel very alone.
Alienated.
Yes, you get that initial diagnosis, and then of course all your friends that you had don't know what to do either. And it's like, I mean, when I was thrown in a wheelchair, I lost so many friends because I couldn't go out and do things. No one understood, type thing. And then I had to go, I was hospital homebound during the time Denise called me and we talked about chronic connection. So that was a huge part of my life because I wasn't going to school regularly. I wasn't mingling with people my age. And if I was mingling with people my age, it was like not about what I really wanted to talk about.
Right.
Avoiding the giant elephant in the room, like going past the whole aspect.
Right.
And at that time, Denise, how many other girls, so as she's kind of in this space and 2 years later she meets you, did you already have other girls on that advisory board that she you know what I'm saying, then she kind of met a few other people in her same position?
Well, the way we did it is that I did speak with others, but Aly was really at that right age to participate, as well as interested in really getting more involved. Aly was my first board member. And then the way that, to be honest with you, the way I started meeting people was on social media. We found that social media, in particular Instagram is and Twitter, they're very big platforms for young people, well, all people with chronic illness. Again, we referred last time to the term Spoonie. That is a very big connector in the chronic illness community. If you could just you could just search Spoonie and you get all kinds of accounts and information and so forth. So after speaking with Aly and others, one person, Nancy, who is in England, who I'm hoping can join us one day here, I found her blog site, and it was just so honest and genuine, yet positive, without being Susie Sunshine, because this is not a Susie Sunshine world. And so, but it is good to try to see what we can do to find that silver lining. And so Nancy had just such a great blend of that, and her writing is just impeccable. So I got in touch with her, and we got to know each other and brought her on board. And then Kirsten, who I spoke of last time too, is in Belgium. And the same thing with Kirsten, just over time got to know them, and they became my teen and young adult advisory board. And then since then, we just started having parties. We would have just open it up. It's free. I would say this Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to have a virtual pajama party, and whoever, come in your PJs, or, if you want, come, sitting in your bed, whatever's comfortable. We've had people join us from hospital. We've had them join, from wherever they are. I think we've had somebody once even join us from her car. She was going from one place to another. And so you can just jump in and you get to chat and talk with others that really get you. As Aly said, she talked about that losing those friendships and that alienation. And that is something that I have found across the board. I have not spoken with one young person with chronic illness or their parent that didn't tell me that same story. And so that is probably one of the big reasons why I feel like this is so valuable, is because it does provide a way to meet others and connect with others in a different format. We get on all together just like this, except you'll have a lot more people sometimes, and just everybody talks, we play games, we just have fun. And but we can also problem solve,
Right. Because it's an amazing platform, because so many that are not in the world of different chronic illnesses do not know that we don't get to leave our house much, and that would go for caregivers as well.
Exactly.
I told people before, there should be a online party for caregivers, because we're
absolutely
all home, and then we could see people and
right.
eat dinner together through our computers.
No, it's true. It's a great way to chat and have some fun for a little bit, but and laugh about things. It's so important to laugh, and in this case, a lot of times people don't know, like Aly said, what to say, the elephant in the room, like she said, and they don't know what to say or how to respond. And when everybody has their own elephant, so to speak, or their own chronic illness, then you can just joke about everything,
right?
And that relieves a lot of stress sometimes. The relatability it's really strong within that population. And so it's not just others with juvenile arthritis or lupus. There may be somebody with cystic fibrosis that joins in, or somebody with ME, fibro, Ehlers-Danlos, all kinds of different diagnoses. So, but everybody experiences the ins and outs of what it's like to live with that chronic illness that's not going, that's not cured or curable.
And then Aly, so once you kind of got on the advisory board and you started doing this, what did that do for you, like not only friendship-wise, meeting other people, but also, I know there's a lot to be said for a lot of sometimes the pain and things that we experience, turning them into purpose. And when I look at you and I look at your Rockstar Instagram page, which you'll have to give everybody that at the end of the show, I really feel like you are such a trailblazer in that you really are showing that even though I have this, condition, that's not going to stop me, from doing the things that I want to do. So what did you find as this board comes together with Chronic Connection? You have these other girls from Belgium and all over. What did you experience? I mean, how was that feeling for you once Denise and you guys had started to put this all together?
I mean, it was honestly like just incredible. I mean, like as you said, the friendships that I've made through this program, like I'll have them forever. I actually met my best friend face to face through one of these Zooms, and like without that, I don't know if we would have like ever made that connection or did that face to face thing. And it's just, I know now that I can, if I'm in a bad place or if I'm in a lot of pain or something, I am one text away from anybody on the board with me, and I know that they'll be there for me and they'll be able to talk me through it and tell me everything. And then I honestly have Chronic Connection to thank for like the positive voice and purpose I have, I guess, in my voice, because I always, before I helped out with Chronic Connection, I did a few little things. I was helping with walks and stuff, but I didn't feel like it was like my own voice, if that makes sense. But now I feel like that when I go and someone asks me about chronic illness or chronic pain, like I feel like I have, like I know all this knowledge and I actually, like I can positively give them like an answer. And I have Chronic Illness, like Chronic Connection to thank for that. It's just, the organization is fabulous and has helped me. Like words cannot describe how much it has helped me.
So would you say for many other teens and young adults that are experiencing, some of these things, that getting involved in this type of an organization or other, is there other things that you've also done aside from Chronic Connection that have really kind of lifted you and been a support?
Yeah, just doing anything that makes you feel like you're not alone. Just even reaching out to someone on social media, joining a group text of people that are going through what you're going through. Just being a part of something that makes you feel like what you're going through isn't strange or isn't unordinary. Because when I was firstly diagnosed, I was like, I'm the only one that's dealing with this. Why did God make me this way? Why this? Why that? And it's important to know that there are other people going through what you've gone through or are going through what you've previously gone through. And so I think it's important for other teens and everything just to reach out and find that, because there have been times when I haven't done that, and that just mentally it makes everything so much worse despite everything that's happening. Just being able to talk to someone and figure that out is very important.
Now, have you found through Chronic Connection, and I know you guys do these YouTube videos and stuff as well, have you found that you've had teens reach out to you? You know what I'm saying? Like you met people through Chronic Connection, but you just being on social media, you doing these YouTube videos, have you found that young adults and teens have reached out to you personally?
I have like a few people DM me on Instagram every now and then saying like how my posts have helped them, when it's like I feel like I should be messaging them saying their posts have helped me. So it's like that small community. Like, I mean, the Spoonie community, if you look at it, it looks big, but it's actually, we're quite like, it all feels like we're together and it's a small community. So just like when people tell me that I've helped them in some way, like I'm like, you've helped me in some way just by saying that, or just by watching that video or spreading awareness about what we're going through to get people to understand. I think,
Oh, go on.
I was just going to say, I think there's a lot of empowerment there too. And I've seen a lot of just more and more of that over the last couple of years. And I think it does kind of spread a little bit. You see one person doing a video and being honest and upfront about here's my life and here's what it's like. And I'm making the best of it by doing this. And then it spreads. Then somebody else is over here going, oh, I can do that too. Let me share about this, or I wonder what I can do. And I think that what Aly's saying too with the spinning community, it is a lot. It is pretty. It's so much bigger than anybody would realize. But at the same time, there is, that intimacy. I think that's there. That because there is that thread that everybody has, some sort of chronic illness, condition, or disability. And so, but it is interesting. I do think that Aly's selling herself a little bit short here too, I have to say. She does amazing videos, and she's great. She's shared her stories. She has done a vlog where she's even showed everybody what it was like to get an infusion. And by the way, prior to Chronic Connection, didn't you speak on Capitol Hill or something like that?
Oh, maybe have.
Yeah, just a little bit. So yeah, she's very active and all on her own too. So
now, you guys you said a new video is being released today, right? That you did?
Yes.
It's actually about chronic pain, which...
Oh my gosh. Well, then we need to put that link under this post as well so people can watch that. So is it you yourself, or are you with some of the other girls within Chronic Connection?
I do the videos in my bedroom. So, I would love to do them. So one day that will happen. But right now it's just me and my camera answering questions when I can.
Yeah, it's for our program. It's called Ask a Spoonie. And so what we do is we'll have anybody who has a question, or sometimes we'll just see a topic and realize, oh, we should address that as well. And so periodically just different people do videos. And Aly is one of our stars for sure. She's got some really good videos there. But yeah, so she has one she filmed, and it should be live now. I'll be posting about it soon, and we will share the link for that.
That is wonderful. So Aly, I want to know, when did that pivotal point come in this whole chronic illness and in pain world for you that you said, I'm not going to keep asking myself questions as to why this is happening to me, and I'm going to move forward? And I know you're starting college, right? Are you starting you're in college, you're starting in a new school?
Yes, I'm actually leaving home, which is a very big, I was supposed to leave last year, but my health took a turn for the worst. And so take a stay home, do online school. But I'm finally at a place where I'm like, I'm going to try and go off and see how that goes.
And where are you going to school?
The UT Martin, University of Tennessee at Martin.
Wonderful. So, but when was that point? When did that point come for you? Because I think that there's a lot of teenagers, a lot of young adults, and even I bet there's a lot of adults that are watching today or going to watch this segment that get to that point, and a lot of times they think, woe is me. This has happened to me. Why has it happened to me? I'm in pain every day. How do I move past this? How do I have a different mindset? When did that come for you? Because when I look at, like I said, your profile, the things that I do, I can tell that inside of you, you're unstoppable. You're just like ready. You're like, this might be, but this might be a condition that, the Lord has given me, but I'm going to persevere past that. So when did that point come for you?
I'm not going to lie. There are still plenty of days when I still have that question, like when the pain gets really bad and I have to, I think everyone has their funks.
Mm-hmm.
I think that initial point was, that first year of getting diagnosed was so difficult for me just because it was so many changes. But I feel like after that next year of finally not figuring everything out.
Right.
Everything out. And my family was so supportive, like trying to find answers, doing all this. And then my mom and I, we were talking one day and we came up with the motto, don't let anything dull your sparkle, not even juvenile arthritis. So, because we were just talking one day, I think one of us said it, and that we were just like, whoa, that is totally how we're going to deal with this. We're not going to let it like, I'm not going to let it stop me from going to do my passions. It's going to be hard to do what I've always wanted to do, but it doesn't, and my abilities may be slightly limited, but I can still do what I love it might be a lot harder, but I can still
achieve it.
Yes. It's just for me, I'm trying to get a degree in creative writing to become an author or publisher. And so with my arthritis in my hands, typing some days is very, very, very difficult. And just writing in general, especially with brain fog, medications. But I am so passionate about what I do that I just think, oh, this is just not, I have to get past this.
Mm-hmm.
I can still do it. I may have to do things a lot differently than other people do it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it. It just
Right.
throws me a little bit harder.
Right. And you have another kind of motto that you live by. I know I was reading it and I loved it. That don't let anything dull your sparkle. I love that. But you said that chronic illness may have a hold on her body, but it will not stop you from living, right?
Chronic illness has a hold on my body, but it will not stop me from living my best life. Like I said, I just have to do things differently. I have to go to the hospital. My life is very, very different than what would be considered a normal life. But that doesn't mean that I can't enjoy the life I have, because I'm a person that believes that things happen for a reason. So I might not specifically know why this chronic illness, why fate or God or whatever decided to give me this. But I know it happened for a reason, and I'm just going to continue my life, because if I stop and not do that, then what's the point? So,
Right. You have to have belief and faith.
yeah.
And tons of perseverance in the things that you do. Now, kind of in wrapping up, what's kind of on the horizon for Chronic Connection? So we got the video coming out.
Yes, we've got that. Our card swaps are continuing. We just got everybody matched this week for the April-May card swap, for the sign up for that. So that's all been sent out, and we've got the July registration up now. So we'll have another card swap in July. Our card swaps, that's something we do that is free of charge for all ages and for all places, I say. It's global. We just got this round, we had somebody from Iceland and somebody from Singapore, and that brings us to 17 or more countries at this point. So it's really fun, and it's just a way to connect with others, and we do match by age group. So that's we're taking enrollment now for the July card swap for that. We have our membership program, which is the Spoonie Society. That's for ages 16 to 24. And it's just an exclusive membership program to connect and have parties and get-togethers and others, and to create these groups. We're kind of using our board member. They sort of naturally evolved, and so into their own very close-knit group. And so as we grow it, we'll look for that with the other groups too. So they'll have their own groups that, and then we'll have one, events where everybody can go too. But I think it's nice to have that kind of small group, 9-10 people that are closer to each other, can text, offline and all of that. So we have that. We'll be adding some parent virtual events and meetings in as well, because like you said, caregivers and and others, this should be for them too. They need time to connect and relate to each other. So so those are some of the things going on right now. I'm also working on a book, so Aly is actually helping with that as well as some of the others on the board, and because it will all be all about their own words. It's going to be a platform for them to really be heard. So
that is phenomenal. I'm telling you, between the two of you, you've made my day. You've made my week. You really have. So now, Aly, I know you're going to be going off to school. So when are you leaving home for school?
Around the end of August. I'm actually moving in early, because with me and all my chronic illnesses and stuff, like I have to dorming and everything is a bit more challenging, more complicated. But I'll be going after August, the End of August, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And anything else going on? We need your Instagram. We need that so everybody can follow.
Oh, yes, for sure.
It's that.awkward.spoony.
I love that. So, and you don't have a Facebook, right?
No, I do not.
Okay, so that they can, oh,
Sorry.
we have a dog. That's awesome. So we have 3 people and a dog. That's great. That's great. Now, anything else that you'd like to kind of leave us with? I know we went through a lot and you've already told us a ton. Anything in the pain management world, the chronic pain world, that you'd like to throw out there that works very good also as, which I didn't ask you before, like tools and things you use to feel better? So I know I asked you about like support groups and things that way, but are there any aids, at home of things like a TENS machine, like things like that you absolutely love, that you're like, oh, this makes things much better? I know it never makes it perfect, but I don't want to get offline without asking that, because you've been dealing with this for many years. So I'm sure you've tried a zillion different types of modalities to try to feel better.
There's actually a few. In the winter, especially, I found that they're called hot booties. And it sounds the silliest thing, but they're these heat packs that are in the shape of slippers, and you put them in the microwave and then you put them on your feet. And for me and my Raynaud and the arthritis combined, that really helps. And then I'm a big fan of essential oils. I try to do everything as holistically as I can, because all the medications, I mean, right now I'm on 2 biologic drugs at once. So I try to stay away from as much medication as I possibly can, but I mean, you still have to take them. So I try to do as much natural stuff as I can, and sometimes that helps. I know that's kind of a, what's the word? It's a difficult, like, some people are for it, some people are against it.
Right.
I just say to anyone that if they're kind of like on their last resort, to try essential oils, because I was very hypocritical about them before I tried them.
Okay.
I tried them and I was actually like, wow, some of it actually does help.
What are your favorites?
Oh gosh.
I know I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't ask you this beforehand. I know I didn't tell you. I was going to ask you.
Names of them. My mom is she does all the research and everything and goes,
Okay.
Oh, try this one. But there's a few for sleeping that really help. One for Tara is called Serenity. That one helps I have a hard time sleeping due to my chronic pain. So and I've been trying to get off medication for that, but along with the medication and that, it really, really helps. There's also some for like swelling and things, so that I don't have to I try and not take pain meds, but living with chronic pain, it's kind of like pick your battles if you want to or if you don't.
Right. Well, maybe your mom, if she's on Facebook, she could drop below this live any of your favorite oils. That would be awesome if she was able to do that. And then do you do any diet modifications? Do you have anything to say with that? I know that you try to be as natural as possible, but is there something that you're like, I eliminated this and it really helped me?
It's funny that you said that, because last year I actually went gluten-free, which when getting diagnosed, and I always have people telling me, maybe try going gluten-free, maybe try going vegan, going something like this. And I was, again, hypocritical of it. But I finally got to the point where I was like, I might as well try it. It's not going to hurt. If it doesn't work, whatever. But I tried it, and now there's not a huge difference, but I do feel like it has helped my joints in a way by taking that out of my diet. But again, that's something that depends on the person, because I know people that have tried it and it does nothing. But luckily for me, I guess, a little bit. So, and I try to eat as healthy and holistically as possible, just to help as well.
All right. I think you should have your own show, Aly. That's what I think.
I agree.
Don't you think she should have her own show?
I know. Isn't she awesome?
Awkward Spoony show. I would love it. I would love it.
Perfect.
Yes. Well, I thank you guys so much for spending the last half an hour plus with our audience today. I know that we can drop below all of the information. I'll also, Aly, make sure that your Instagram tag goes in the Facebook so that people can follow you, that way as well, and know where to find you. But really, I think the whole Chronic Connection is just such an amazing organization, and kudos to both of you for everything that you have put together with this, because it is so needed in the pain and chronic illness community. So thank you guys for doing that.
Thank you.
So on that note, we're just going to wrap up for the afternoon. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous Wednesday. And if you want to find any of the other social media applications, you can head on over to onairadvocate.com. That's where this will be downloaded into a podcast as well as a YouTube video. So if you know someone and they don't have Facebook and you want to still share it with them, head over, send them the video, all that good stuff. And also remember that we're going to be kicking off our private on-air advocate community, which will start June 1st. So make sure that you go over there and you request to be a part of that as well. So on that note, you guys have a fabulous day, and thank you for spending the afternoon with us.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.